barely 2 months since the presidential candidates rolled out campaigns at the grassroots, the media has come under public scrutiny on the question of impartiality, objectivity, accuracy, and fairness. This report also explores the issue of interpretative and explanatory reporting and reveals that most of the stories lack this element and took the ad news angle.
Newspapers, for instance, in October we had 493 election stories, but now in November we are seeing 920 election stories. So that is one of the indicators of an increase in volume of election coverage.
According to the findings, the incumbent President Museveni received slightly better coverage than others, including his closest rival, Amama Mbabazi and Dr. Kizza Besigye.
For the regionals, for the regional weeklies of Etop, Urumuri, and Rupin, most of their coverage is to President Museveni, the NRM presidential candidate, and the rest of the candidates are barely visible.
On television platforms, President Museveni enjoyed the most coverage at 32.8%, Patrick Mbabazi in the second position with 24.2%, Forum for Democratic Change flag bearer Dr. Kizza Besigye at 19.9%, and independent candidate Professor Vanasius Beramuleba scored 9.1%, Faith Mulinchalia also with 4.3% coverage, Joseph Mabirizi 3.7%, Abedi Bwanika 3.5%, Major General Benan Biraro at 3.3%.
NRM presidential candidates, and the rest of the airtime space was distributed among the other 7 presidential candidates. So,
on the newspaper coverage, the monitoring media coverage indicates that President Museveni enjoyed 3.90%, and former Premier Mbabazi scored 25.7%. The FDC candidate Dr. Kizza Besigye in the third place with 21.1%. Professor Vanasius Beramuleba at 3.4%. Joseph Mabirizi also had 3.0%. Faith Mulinchalia with 2.9%. Abedi Bwanika at 2.6%. Major General Benan Biraro at 2.3%.
You go to a breakdown by presidential candidates, we see Mbabazi and Chalia and Mabirizi having the highest percentage of stories that had negative tone. And for Mr. Mbabazi, that can be explained by the fact that he's been receiving personal attacks from the incumbency and from the rest of the other candidates as well.
NTV Uganda, for instance, gave Besigye 25.6%, Museveni 25.4%, Mbabazi 21.1%, Beramuleba 12.5%, Mabirizi 4.5%, Biraro 3.8%, Chalia 3.3%. For UBC, the November findings show that it provided a bigger portion of its airtime space to the ruling party presidential candidate Museveni at the expense of other contenders. According to the Presidential Act 2005, UBC as a public broadcaster is mandated to accord equal treatment to all presidential candidates to present their programs to the people.
For UBC, in November, it gave 43.9% of its space to President Museveni, the NRM presidential candidate, and the rest of the airtime space was distributed among the other 7 presidential candidates.
And the report further indicates that there were minimal interrogation of claims of presidential candidates across the media in November. The general monitoring exercise started on September 1st and will track coverage to polling day on the 18th February. Ivan Chimurichigozi, NTV.